Woo! Is it hot in here or is it just me? Because, man, I am still sweating. After that direct, dude, I have not calmed down since. Maybe it's the coffee. Maybe it was the 5 new characters, the stage hazard toggle, all the stuff, dude. There's so much stuff. I wasn't expecting so much information so soon after the E3 presentation, but, man, this thing was jam-packed. Let's talk about it. So first, I think we should talk about the leak that dropped about like less than 12 hours before the Direct actually went live. It was leaked sort of by Nintendo because they put an unlisted video up on the Super Smash Bros. YouTube channel that featured some songs from Castlevania. So we kind of saw that first character announcement coming, but lucky me, I hid myself from Twitter, I hid myself from YouTube all night, so I wasn't spoiled whatsoever. That being said, I'm not a huge Castlevania fan, so I wasn't too thrilled, but I mean, that character reveal trailer is beautiful. I loved the Luigi stuff. Like, if Luigi wasn't in there and he didn't like get his ghost pulled out of him and stuff, probably wouldn't have enjoyed that trailer as much, but man, it was a beautiful cinematic. These character reveal trailers are up there with like the best cinematics, like those Blizzard cinematics and stuff like that. High quality stuff, no doubt. But so we got Simon and Richter Belmont as characters. We have not only Simon, but an Echo Fighter form as well, which is something that kind of wasn't explicit in that leak, which was kind of cool for the people who did get spoiled by that leak. So like I said, I'm not a huge fan of these characters, but it is super exciting. I really like the Morningstar type of thing, the chain looking thing. I was really hoping that maybe he had like a hookshot attack similar to Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, where he's like, he throws out his chain and kind of pulls you towards him and he's like, get over here. Probably won't happen, but I thought it would have been cool. Then going from the characters into that Castlevania stage, looked like a pretty cool stage. There's like, what I counted maybe 6 or 7 different types of stage hazards or bosses that'll randomly spawn. So that's like a lot of variety there. There's like the werewolf, there's like that freaky mask thing on the outside of the window, whatever that was. And Dracula, of course, is like the main boss and he only spawns sometimes. You know, they do have the stage hazard toggle now, so I doubt that I'll be playing against these bosses too many times. But for the first couple times I play that stage, I'm sure it's going to be a pretty cool deal. So yeah, the Simon and Richter announcements didn't get me like super hyped, but then just right after the bat, right after those first 2 character announcements, we get like a whole new series. Sakurai just keeps on the load coming. He's like punch, 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 punch. 2 new Echo Fighters right off the bat within like the first 5 or 10 minutes. Ridiculous. And if you watched my live stream, you know how excited I was for this character. I love Lucina and Marth and Roy. Those are like some of my favorite characters to play in the game. And I just love the characters in Awakening in general. Awakening is one of the best Fire Emblem games. When they announced Chrom, dude, I freaked out. I was asleep. I was totally asleep before that happened, but I was 100% awake after Chrom got announced. I screamed. I like woke myself up. There's like something that went on in my brain. I was like, ugh. I'm so excited for Chrom. Dark Samus looks so cool as well. That was out of left field. Both of those characters were way out of left field. Dark Samus looks awesome. I like how she like floats around. I'm not exactly sure which game Dark Samus is from, but she looks cool. And they had that little scene where her and Ridley interact and kind of like beat someone up together. It was very cool. So then they moved on to the stage section of this Direct. They showcased some of the returning stages that we already knew about, and then of course the big reveal of the new name of that Mario Odyssey map, New Donk City Hall, which looks super cool. You kind of start out in front and you travel up that skyscraper where the base is, where that jump rope minigame is, kind of in that area. And there's Pauline and her band as stage hazards. I didn't really fully understand what they did as stage hazards, but they're there, which is cool. They also gave us an exact number of stages that are going to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. There's going to be 103 different stages. Oh my goodness, 103. Smash 4 had 55, so this is almost doubling that number, which isn't very surprising considering they are bringing so many returning maps in, but just that sheer number alone made me say, wow, that's crazy. They also made sure to touch on all of the different options available when you're choosing your stage. So for example, they finally confirmed that we will be able to toggle off and on the stage hazards. They sort of touched on that at E3, but they didn't blatantly say it, but they did here, so that was great. They also confirmed the addition of the Omega and Battlefield modes for every single stage in the game. I'm not sure if they were available for every single stage in Smash 4, but now it is. So you can either do like the Final Destination Omega style on every map, or you can do the Battlefield style where it's like 3 platforms. So overall, with those 103 maps, if you count all of the variations between those 2 other types, there's over 300 types of stages to play here. 300 types, what the heck, this is ridiculous. So they also have this new mode called Stage Morph mode, which even kind of increases that number a little bit, because this is where you can choose 2 different stages and you'll travel between the 2 mid-match while you're fighting. Who would have thought of that? I don't think anyone predicted that coming, but sounds like a pretty cool feature to me. After stages, they moved on to music, and the first thing they mentioned here is that music is no longer stage specific, it's actually series specific. So no matter what Legend of Zelda stage you're playing on, you're gonna get whatever mix of Legend of Zelda music that you choose, because you're actually going to be able to choose the frequency of which Legend of Zelda songs come on those Zelda stages, which the amount of customization there is ridiculous. They also announced that you can actually just browse the music regularly. That's nothing new, but you can actually listen to all of these songs while the screen is closed. So it's ultimately making your Switch your iPod if you want to exclusively listen to Smash Bros. Music, which sounds weird, but that would be okay because they also included this number. There's going to be a total of over 900 different musical tracks here. That's over 28 hours of music, which is probably what a lot of people have on their iPods. Like 28 hours, that will last you a long time. And that's without replaying anything. 28 hours of that music. I thought that was ridiculous. Another thing that I want to touch on while we're talking about these numbers is that they had a lot of concrete numbers, or 2 main concrete numbers. They had that 900 music tracks number and also the 103 stages. One concrete number that they didn't give us in this direct is the concrete number of fighters that we'll have in the final product of the game. If they gave us the concrete numbers for all of those other things, and they're so impressive, why wouldn't they just tell us the exact fighters numbers? Because there's still fighters left to reveal. So I'm pretty sure that confirms there's still some fighters, maybe some Echo fighters, maybe 1 or 2 new ones as well. I think we're still gonna get another direct with more character reveals before this game's out. Alright, moving on, they talked about some of the new modes, and there's actually quite a few here. I guess first of all, it's worth pointing out that they're gonna include custom rule sets that you can actually save. So if you have this certain rule set that you really like, you can save it and use it next time without having to go through all the options and change everything, which is kind of cool. Then, of course, we got the Squad Strike announcement, which is what I thought was going to be the tag team mode. You know, as fans, we've kind of been clamoring for a mode where you can fluidly switch between fighters and have like 2 or 3 at a time. This is sort of like that, except you do just have to fight with them consecutively after one another dies. So you'll start, if you have 3 characters, you'll start with the first, use that one till it dies, use the second, use that one till it dies, rather than just tagging out like mid-match. Kind of a bummer there, but I guess it sounds like a pretty cool mode. Other than that, we got the tournament mode. Sounds pretty cool. A great party mode if you have a bunch of friends or if you just want to play a bunch of games against CPUs. Nothing to complain about there. And then we had an interesting mode called Smashdown, which is sort of this like elimination mode where once you play a character, in the next round, if you win with that character, you won't be able to play with it again. It reminded me of this certain mode in Overwatch, which I still can't remember the name of, but it just kind of eliminates the characters as you win with them. Sounded pretty cool to me. After all that mode coverage, they had a big section on items, Pokemon, and assist trophies. Not a whole lot to say here. All of the items looked pretty cool. I really like seeing all the new Pokemans. Alolan Executor is going to be awesome. He sort of spawns in the middle and kind of splits the stage in two, so you kind of get stuck on whatever side of him and you live with it. Looked pretty cool. They also had Ditto, and he copies a random fighter. What the heck? Ditto's in the game. That's awesome, I thought. Alolan Vulpix is so cute, of course. Got to be happy about Alolan Vulpix. I thought it was interesting that they left Decidueye out of this. I still think, and I'm almost 100% sure, Decidueye is going to be playable. Just watch, just watch. Another omission that they left out here, they showed Knuckles again. So they showed Knuckles even though they already revealed him, but they didn't show Shadow. I don't know if Shadow's just not going to be back at all as an assist trophy, or if they kind of omitted him from this because he's actually going to be an Echo Fighter. Like I said, I still think because they didn't give us that concrete number of exact fighters we're getting, I'm sure that they have a couple Echo Fighters and some more brand new fighters up their sleeve, and I think Shadow and Decidueye were omitted from this so they could be revealed later. But that's just my hot take. Also, I forgot to mention that towards the end of that section, we have to say a quick RIP, just kind of bow our heads and have a moment of silence for our friend Shovel Knight. If you've watched my Smash videos before, if you watched any of just my live streams before, you might know that I really wanted Shovel Knight as a playable character, but alas, he was confirmed, just like Waluigi was confirmed at E3, to be an assist trophy. Kinda sucks, but it's still really cool. He's the first independently developed and published game character to be in Super Smash Bros., so that's exciting. Maybe next time he'll be a playable character. I'm crossing my fingers. Still cool that he's in there. They also showed Rathalos from Monster Hunter. This is one of the most iconic monsters from the series, and he's also coming with a new Monster Hunter stage, which I wasn't expecting at all, but that's awesome. Monster Hunter representation in Smash. So he's going to be a boss on that Monster Hunter stage, and he's also going to be an assist trophy. He's the first of his kind to be both a boss and an assist trophy, which was kind of cool as well. And plus that stage looks really nice. It's just this flat plains area, and you can see some mountains in the distance. Looks very nice. And of course, the last thing that Mr. Sakurai was gracious enough to reveal to us is the official main menu of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If we're being honest, this looks pretty crappy to me. There's not a lot of improvements from Smash 4. The Smash 4 menu is super clunky and kind of cryptic. There's still that games and more option. Games and more? Like, we're in a video game. Obviously, there's gonna be games here. I know translations can be wacky sometimes, but games and more? What does that even mean? I thought that was kind of dumb. Another thing that I forgot to mention that they mentioned earlier in the Direct is the adventure mode, or it's called classic mode, and it's similar to the adventure mode in Melee or that original mode in the classic game, and it just takes you through several stages, and it's different for each of the characters, which seems pretty cool. But anyways, back to this main menu. It just looks exactly like Smash 4's. One interesting part of this is that there is a blurred out big section of this menu, and they never touched on what it is. We gotta assume it's like Subspace Emissary 2 or a new type of story mode. They already revealed the classic mode, so it's not gonna be something like that. So it's gonna be something at a higher tier with maybe more story or cutscenes. I don't know. Very excited to find out what that is. Also, probably the most exciting part of this menu for me was this Switch dashboard feature where you can press a button and it sort of brings up this Switch dashboard. I'm not sure if that's specific to Super Smash Bros. Or if that's going to be part of the Nintendo Switch Online service, but this looked pretty cool. I think the biggest thing that I noticed here was this message icon, and it had like a notification, like someone had a message in their inbox. So there's messages in Super Smash Bros. Like I said, I'm not sure if this was like a teaser for Nintendo Switch Online, but there's some type of messages. So there's going to be a messaging system in Smash. That's perfect. We wanted this for so long on Switch, and it doesn't make any sense why we can't send messages right now. This will be great. Like I said, I don't know if it's Nintendo Switch Online or Super Smash Bros., but it's going to be great. And finally, the moment we were all waiting for that we didn't know we were waiting for. The screen started shaking. He said he was done, but the screen was shaking, so we were like, what's going on here? Then it cuts to that beautiful Donkey Kong scene that just made me smile. The way they looked in the window, like, and just I love the monkey interactions. And then the D thing, if you watch my reaction, it was so funny. All of the reactions I've watched during that part were so funny because they just kind of like threw us a curveball there. It was D at first, but then he comes and he just... Like, who is actually expecting King K. Rool? In my predictions video, I said that I was expecting it just because of like the whole villains vibe with Ridley, but the fan service is literally up to 11 million and trillion thousand right now. That's a big number, right? It's crazy. Once again, that character reveal trailer was like a god tier cinematic, up with the Blizzard ranks, no doubt. His moveset looks kind of cool. He can stomp people into the ground. He can throw his crown. He does a lot of moves with his big golden belly. They showed his final smash, which looked pretty cool. Yeah. King K. Rool in Super Smash Bros. What year is it? Or is this Bizarro World? What the heck's happening? So that's just about every detail that I could pick out of here, guys. I'm sure I missed some things though, so if you have anything that I missed and that might be interesting to me or others, please let me know down in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel for the latest Witch content available. This has been Max from Max Culture, and thank you so much for watching.